We're good. All right. Welcome everyone to Dearborn Open Mic. Before we kick things off, we begin with a land acknowledgement because we know that to truly move forward, we must first honor where we stand. We acknowledge that we are gathered on the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe Nation. We recognize the injustices committed during colonization and the broken treaties that followed. We honor the enduring connection of indigenous peoples to this land, and we express our deepest respect for their continued resistance. As immigrants and settlers in what is now known as Michigan, we pledge to stand with the oppressed in every place and every time until justice and peace are not dreams but realities. Now let's get this mic moving. Welcome to Dearborn Open Mic, or as the cool kids call it, DOME. This program is proudly brought to you by the Arab American Center for Culture and Arts, hosted by the Center for Arab American Studies. We want to thank Dr. Wissam al-Maligi, the director of the center, for offering this space for us, and covered by our media fam at Dearborn Blog. Special shout out to our generous sponsors who help keep this program flowing: Huntington Bank, Pixel Studios with Hussam, and W Institute. Since 2017, Dome has been the place to be for poets, musicians, storytellers, philosophers, and everyone in between. Whether you're here to share your soul or just vibe in the back with a tea, you're part of this space, and we're glad that you're here. At Dome, creativity isn't just welcomed, it's expected. And so is courage, because we're not just here to impress each other in metaphors, we're here to speak the truth, challenge injustice, and show up for humanity one mic drop at a time. Just a quick disclaimer, what's said at the mic doesn't necessarily represent the views of our sponsors, hosts, or organizers, but we're all here to listen. So sit back, lean in, and get ready for a night of voices that matter. Let's get loud and let's get real. Let's get Dome. Please join me in welcoming tonight's featured speaker, Machhadie Assi, known affectionately as Micho, a Persian name honoring her late grandmother. Micho is a proud Lebanese American, one who admits she can't do the dabki, but makes a mean tabbouleh. Beyond the kitchen, she's a powerhouse in public service. All of us are witnesses to that. A trilingual public speaker, advocate, and strategist with over a decade of experience spanning government, nonprofits, justice reform, and grassroots empowerment. She currently leads MAPS, Muslim Americans in Public Service, Michigan, lifting up Muslim American voices in public life. She also serves as vice chair of the Dearborn Environmental Commission, board member at the Arab Women United, and is a fellow at the National Transformative Democracy Project. Her leadership has touched the Michigan legislature, the Attorney General's office, and the public defender system. Micho is deeply committed to bridging policy with community, expanding civic access, and creating inclusive spaces, especially for Arab American and minority women. And perhaps most impressively, she does it all as proud single mother of 4, 3 teens, and a young adult, who will remind 3 teens. That's what I said, didn't I?
No, you said 4.
I said 4. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Where did that come from?
I'm done with this.
Who remind her daily of what strength, purpose, and love truly mean. When she's not leading change, she's hiking, enjoying fashion, and sipping qahwa or chai in cities around the world. Please give a warm welcome to Machhadie Assi, Micho.
Thank you. I was so scared. I'm like, where's my 4th child that I'm neglecting? Masa al-khair and good evening, everyone. I don't like to share my true honors, my true story about me by just reading a speech off of a laptop, but just so I don't drift off the subject, and I don't want to make it like a venting therapeutic moment, but it might end up be, because this is talking about me. But also, as Wissam mentioned, this is not just to say words to impress each others, but truly to share truth about whether concepts, whether story we want to touch, whether lesson we want to share. And way in my purpose of sharing a story, because I am a true believer of the power of advocating and making impact through the strength of storyteller. Again, my name is Machhadie. I go by Micho. I'm a proud single mother of 3 adults now. And I want to share my story of the single woman from South Lebanon who transformed the stigma of the label of being divorced, stigma to strength, and walked through that path from pain to power. And you might ask your question, what the identity of being divorced has something to do with working in the political arena in general, and why I wanted to transform the divorce from label to a stigma to unlabeling the stigma. And what power we're talking about. For me, when I talk about the power, it means power of transforming, the power of unlabeling. And through walking through that path of unlabeling, it goes through pain. Because I refuse to mention the word power without mentioning pain. Because for many people, the word power means like a strong Dracula with no feeling. I don't know how everyone can think about the word power. For me, the word power, it means crying. It means having doors shut down in your face. It means being underestimated. It means feeling alone sometimes. But it means to still exist and still walk through this path and refuse all these labels and embrace all these imperfections and still do what you need to do and what you dream about doing. This is why I refuse to talk about power without pain. My journey has taken me from surviving domestic violence to becoming a victim advocate at the Michigan Attorney General Office in Michigan. From a survivor to a victim advocate appointed by the AG office, from a citizen who never casted a ballot and never registered to vote, to a community organizer who mobilized over 100,000 voters in the Muslim and Arab community over several cycles of election. From a woman who first got divorced and refused to share that she's divorced for 3 years because it's a hype, or also known as shame, to define yourself as divorced. I used to always say my husband is traveling, that's why he's not with me in events, because I never wanted to get attention, the wrong attention to anyone, to a woman who only defined herself as a proud single mom. Every time they ask me to share my bio, or every time I'm in an interview about my career, about different things, even honestly in job interview, I always share that I am a single mom. If people don't know and don't understand what it comes on the resume of being a single mom and navigating the world in public service, then they must read a book or meet somebody who's a single mom to understand their stories of resilience and struggle or barriers. And I'm not speaking here as a victim. I'm definitely speaking as a warrior. I'm speaking on behalf of the heart of every single mother, or every immigrant mother who had to try to figure it on her own without any backbone. On behalf of every woman who had to be the backbone for herself, for her family, and navigate this world of public service. But I know that this journey from pain to power has been mine to own. Yet despite my accomplishments, I've often been reduced to a label, a divorced woman. But have you ever heard of someone defining a man, he's a divorced man? He works in politics? No, No one cares about if he's a divorced man, but oh, it's the mtallaqa, divorced woman. It has been this single aspect of my life that defines me, overshadowing the work that I've done and continue to do. That's why I purposely wanted to face it. I didn't want to shy away from it. And that's why I always introduce myself as a single mom. But I know that I'm more than this label. I'm a story of resilience, of empowerment, and of growth, at least in the eyes of my kids. And it's this story that I want to share with you today. I want to share my personal journey of navigating the challenges of feeling not enough in multiple roles. Not enough. Not enough American in some spaces. Not enough as a woman in other spaces. Not enough as a single parent. But through pain and struggle, I've transformed these feelings into power, stigma into strength. My journey began in a small village in South Lebanon, who, by the way, have been bombed today, 7 minutes away where I was born and raised, where I grew up with big dreams and strong will. At 17-year-old, I got married and immigrated to the United States, not knowing a word of English except stand up, sit down, my name is Micho, and shut up. The next decades was a roller coaster of emotion and personal growth and challenges. As I navigated an unstable marriage that lasted around 12 years, despite the hardships, I persevered and pursued my education in this campus here, Go Blue. I've lived almost a decade in this library with my little kids. As I worked to build a new life, I faced many obstacles and continue to face them. But the only difference, I used to face them with fear. Now I face them with power, including, like I mentioned, domestic violence. But I refused to be defined by these circumstances. Instead, I used my experience to fuel my passion for advocacy. I began working as as paralegal at Washtenaw County Public Defender, and later as victim advocate at the AG office. And as I grew in my role, I discovered from a woman who didn't know her rights to a victim advocate and paralegal who started educating citizens about their rights, I learned about the importance of civic engagement and the power of voting. Like I mentioned, I had my citizenship and never casted a ballot for 12 years. Lately, I ran a campaign for our current state rep, and that campaign won 60% of vote. All these transformations went through a lot of stages of being underestimated. And through my journey, I went through a lot of pain and continue to go through these pains. The hardest pain is when people underestimate you because of the labels and the category they choose to put you in. And I want to take you back to the point and the root of this story. What the divorced woman has something to do in public work and in political work. I'm going to tell you. Because it's happened that in the political arena and the public work and the media work, the majority of people who work in these spaces, they are male. Nothing against this. But in the Arab and Muslim community, when a woman has to communicate with a place and space that's majority, they are male. And I don't know, like I want to walk from this speech and this story. I'm not promising anyone to give any answer. I actually want to walk with questions. I want you to ask yourself or try to find the answer of why when a woman works in political arena in the Arab and Muslim community, they label her as divorced. But when a male works as divorced, no one label him. No one cares if he's divorced. He's not excluded. He's not excluded from being in these spaces or invited to these events. But when a divorced woman walks, it's different than when a single girl walks. As if like the divorced woman, there's something broken in her identity. She's missing something. She's incomplete somehow. This speech or this talk is not about embracing, it's more about embracing our imperfection and trying to find the answers to the question of why a lot of people feel intimidated by a divorced woman, or why some people feel insecure when they're around divorced women. I don't know the answer. I actually asked AI what could be the really, and I'm gonna list because I've been doing that through my journey and through my talk, and I still can't find the answer. AI had some answers for me. It says the perception of divorced women in the political arena can be influenced by various factors, including society stereotype. Divorced women may be viewed as less stable or less capable than their married counterparts. Cultural expectations. In some cultures, marriage is seen as key aspect of women's identity, and divorce can be stigmatized. But my question to AI or to you guys, that stigma for the divorce and unstable marriage, is it applicable to male divorced male? I don't know. You know the answers. Professional dynamic. The dynamic of professional relationship can be affected by personal circumstances, including marital status. Some possible other reasons why a divorced woman might be perceived differently include lack of understanding. I don't know understanding of what, honestly. Some people may not fully understand the circumstances surround a divorce. But my question to AI, why they have to even understand that personal business? What this has something to do with her ability or capability of doing the work and existing in these spaces? Different treatment or personal biases, including biases or prejudice that can influence how people perceive and interact with divorced women. These perceptions can vary widely depending on individual perspective and cultural context. I'm going to tell you now some examples. When I'm at political events or meetings, I noticed that many of the people I interact with, like I said, they are married men. And now you tell me. When I'm a divorced woman, I want to send a text message or an email to a married man, or say hi and smile for a married man. How likely a married man is going to support an event I'm doing or a campaign I'm doing? Or how likely for a married man he's going to compliment how amazing my work is doing? I don't have the answer. But my question is, if this makes a married man uncomfortable to do that, and like I said, most of them, they work in this arena, do they act and behave the same toward a single girl who works in this place? Today, I feel I'm sharing those little examples because honestly, they are like, I'm not shy to say, they are like uqda for me, like a complex. And this complex, I did not create it. The society created, and we need to unlock it. We need to talk about it. I don't want to shy away from it. Why I always have the need to feel uncomfortable having a comfortable conversation with the males in these spaces. And when I do, when I've overcome my comfort, I feel there's a price I'm paying. That price sometimes having other women being distant from a divorced woman because she intimidates them. I don't know why. Again, I don't have the answer because AI doesn't understand about our cultural complexity toward the divorced woman. But I truly wanted you guys to walk away with an answer to these questions. And in a way, like, we truly don't want to shy away from the fact that divorced woman is labeled in the Arab and Muslim culture. And for the fact of why divorced woman is seen different than a single girl who works in this arena, and why some people feel intimidated by her. What do they think she's trying to take away from them? And I want to leave it to here, but I would like to hear some feedback if anyone have any comment or any answer to my questions. Thank you so much for listening. I'll give 2 minutes, maybe, if someone
You do have, you finished
early.
So we have 2 minutes for questions.
Does anyone have any feedback or question or?
To be honest, I'm no, it's kind of raised kind of my curiosity because I'm a divorced person. I don't care whatever people can see. But why as a woman you care? Why you wanna care?
I don't want to care.
Okay, why? So you are a strong woman. I see you like that since day one. I met you, and I never kind of prejudge you based on your if you are single or you are single mom or divorced. I don't care. So just for you, just don't care. Continue your life. Don't focus on that. Do whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing, great job. So you don't need anybody to tell you that you're doing great job. Even it's a man or a woman, just doing whatever you know what you're doing, and just continue. So.
Well, thank you for your feedback. The thing is, I'm continuing to do it, but I'm continuing to do it because I'm able to overcome those discomforts. But just because I'm continuing to do it, it doesn't mean it's not coming with the barrier and challenges. I see it, I live it, and I'm not surprised that you don't see it because you are a man. You are a man. I navigate these spaces. I see it in the eyes of women who don't feel, and I don't blame them because honestly, I always think when a woman feels insecure if she's married, it's because of her husband. I always blame the husband if she's not feeling insecure. That's a different story. But if she's insecure around a divorced woman, that's something. And honestly, I don't want to shy away from it. I see it. I see it how divorced women are often labeled and excluded from spaces because she's divorced. And again, I see her facial expression because you're surprised because you don't see it. You don't feel it, you don't face it.
I understand, but
why I care?
Why you care?
Because that's an issue that it exists. And just because I was able to overcome it, other women are not able to overcome it. When I want to speak about my story, right now at this level, it's not about me. It's about the Micho 10 years ago who had fear and shame, and the dozens of women that I'm surrounded with, they don't have the courage that I do. It's about many. It's about a society concept.
But insecurity, it can be with a woman and man.
Exactly, but the insecurity for women is different because it adds different layers that comes from the culture that's not applied toward men. Yes, insecurity as a feeling, as a human feeling, it's the same. But if you look at it toward women and toward men, they are totally different.
Of course it's different.
Exactly, you're answering the question.
No.
Thank you. Hussam, let's take some more questions and then we can come back to
No, it's okay. I mean, yeah, but is there anyone else? Yeah. Anyone else?
It's a really good talk. I have less than a question, more of like reflections, is that women, like you said, divorced women are oftentimes excluded from spaces because they're viewed as a threat. Like they're going to steal my husband.
Why?
They're going to steal my husband. Right. That's the rhetoric that happens behind closed doors. Like I hear the women speaking this. And so it leads to, like I've had friends completely cut out from huge events, like things with 500 people because they're divorced and things like that. So it becomes not only like you get blocked off from entire parts of society.
Yes.
And especially as someone, like you were saying, that you work in the public realm in civic engagement, to be cut off in that way just because people are viewing you as a threat, like that can mess up your whole like economic life too, like in terms of your own economic stability and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's unfortunate that it happens, but it comes from as much as someone wants to ignore it and pretend like it's not happening, it has real life consequences.
But the good news is that I keep existing in these rooms.
Yeah.
And guess what? Unfortunately, sometimes I have to take a space that's not given to me.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I feel why they get more intimidated.
Yeah.
Because you are taking space that's not offered to you. You are seated at a table that you were not invited to.
Yeah.
That's why I feel the need to, one, address it, to speak on behalf of other women who are not able to speak about it. They are shy.
Yeah.
They have the fear of being ashamed. You mentioned exactly the word that I was going to mention but I did not, which is stealing my husband.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to minimize
Yeah.
the conversation. I wanted to keep it on a cultural concept level. But I did mention this concept in a different interview, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, stealing my husband, as if like another married woman can't steal her husband, or a single girl can't steal her husband. يعني, this is a reality. And honestly, Hussam, to your point, believe it or not, sometimes the root cause of a problem is ideas like that. But not everyone have the courage to address it and talk about it. Like, I see how single girl or married women are treated different. Like, that's like something that needs to be addressed. And again, it goes back to root cause of culture and religion. But I don't want to take too much space for this subject. If anyone have any other comment or question, or we can continue the conversation later.
Thank you, Micho. Thank you for starting this conversation.
Of course.
It's definitely eye-opening, and hopefully it's a start for more conversations on that.
Absolutely.
Let's give it up for Micho one more time.
Thank you.